It is 2025. There's absolutely no reason you should not be having a business if you actually want to have one. And if that's the case and you keep thinking, okay, I would love to have a business, but I don't have the money to start one, I don't have the capital, then I have 6 business ideas for you that require absolutely no money to start. And when I'm saying no money, I mean literally $0. And also most of them require very little to non-technical knowledge. So this should be very easy for everyone. Now, little disclaimer, this is not one of those get rich fast schemes, because I literally don't believe in that. Each idea has its own unique challenges and it obviously requires resilience and effort on your side, but these are all very legit scalable business ideas that you can start today. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Okay, so I'm obviously going to start by, addressing the elephant in the room, and that is becoming a YouTube creator. I find it absolutely staggering how many people do not understand that you can actually make a living out of YouTube. And I don't mean you can make a living out of YouTube once you become a million subscribers kind of creator. And the reason why I think YouTube is an absolutely amazing idea. Well, I do think that for many reasons, to be honest, but one of the main reasons is that your success on YouTube and how much money you make is also highly dependent on your own personal effort compared to other social media, for example, like Instagram or TikTok, that you have to wait for the brands to find for you primarily in order to make the big money, let's put it that way. And YouTube is absolutely not that way, because basically once you are in the YouTube creator program, which means once you already have the eligibility criteria, which means 1,000 followers and 4,000 public hours of views in the last 365 days, then you are in and you start making money. And obviously there's a lot of technical stuff that goes to how much money you're making per 1,000 views and so on and so forth. But the overall idea is that the more you produce, the more content you put out, the more money you're making. And I just think that's just absolutely incredible. It is also very important to specify that YouTube is a very scalable business model, which is something that you should always look into when you're starting a business, because in the beginning, yes, you are getting paid solely for your views, but once you start getting more followers and you get a loyal following, then obviously the brand deals come along. And side note, YouTube brand deals are way better paying compared to the other apps. And also once you, as I said, you have a community, you have a loyal following, you can start exploring other business ideas like business ventures via your channel. And the reason why I also think YouTube is amazing is that whilst you're doing all that, you're also developing amazing, very useful skills like becoming a better communicator, increasing your individual visibility, building a brand around your name, making so many online friends, let alone the fact that you are in a position to help so many people. And I think that's something a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people say, okay, my life is not interesting enough, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to talk about. But trust me when I'm telling you, you are 10 steps ahead compared to somebody else, and that's literally all you need in order to start a YouTube channel. Now, I know a lot of people would challenge that idea and say, okay, how is it a $0 sort of business idea? Because I don't have the camera, I don't have the lights, I don't have the mics, and so on and so forth. And let me tell you, you absolutely don't need all of those things. I know, and it's undeniable that all of these things help, but trust me when I'm telling you, people care way more about what it is that you have to say or what it is that you're showing compared to how aesthetic or like how amazing the visuals and the effects and the sound is. That being said, obviously, if you have $20 to spare, then please get $20 mini mics from Amazon or wherever else. But if you don't have that $20, all you need is your smartphone, which if you're watching that video, you already have that. And then just use the microphone from your smartphone and start that way. And if you still don't believe me that all you need to become a successful creator is literally your smartphone, then I would like to point out that very, very successful creators like the Wizard Liz and Taylor Bell still to this day use their iPhones to film their content. So no excuses, start filming. Business idea number 2 is starting a community. I think undeniably one of the things that our generation struggles the most with is loneliness and finding new friends and finding people that we have the same interests and the same hobbies and that they want to do the same things that we want to do and that they care about the same things that we do. And that's especially a big problem in big cities. So I would highly, highly encourage you to start a community. The way I would go about it is that I would start a very niche community, because that way it's relatively easier easier to identify your customer persona and the people who could potentially be part of that community. And it's also easier to like target them and, you know, just bring them into the community. And I think the way you should go about it is like really be creative. Don't just think of like the standard communities that you mostly know or like you see on social media. So for example, you could start a community for women in tech, but it's for women in tech that actually want to forget tech for an hour. So that way, what you're doing basically is you're finding the community of women who are already in tech. So they already have, let's say, a common background or like common experiences that they can, you know, find connections over. But at the same time, you are going to start offering them experiences that allow them, you know, to explore other parts of themselves while connecting with like-minded people. And so how I would go about it is that I would start organizing like small local events for women in tech, and that could be something like painting in a park, or like a pottery class, or like a yoga class, or a makeup class, or whatever that is. Just small activities for 10-15 people. And you might be wondering, okay, but how do I monetize that? How do I fund the money in order to do all those classes and all those events? And so basically how would that work is that every person should pay, let's say, a fee to participate in that activity. So let's say, for example, that you're organizing an activity that is painting in a park. You will calculate how much would that cost per person. So for example, you're going to calculate how much the canvases are going to cost and how much the, you know, painting materials and whatever. And if that cost per person is, let's say, $5, then you are going to charge the activity $15. So that way that covers the cost of organizing the activity, and it also justifies the amount of time that you spent in organizing this event and, you know, just calculating everything and making it all happen. And what's great about communities is that profitability doesn't stop there. So in the beginning, obviously your product is the events, but as you're having, you know, the community grow and you have loyal members that keep coming back to the community and that they're referring, you know, other people to come to the events and join the community, then your product is no longer the event and the people who are part of the community become the product, which means that now, if let's say you have a community that is females in tech, you can now pitch a big tech company, let's say Microsoft, to do a collaboration event with them. And in that case, Microsoft is going to pay you for that event because you're giving them access to a very niche type of talent that they are looking for. Plus, it's an exceptional CSR visibility opportunity. So now you're having more income streams from that community. That being said, it is a completely scalable business model. So in the future, you can increase your profitability by introducing subscriptions. So the community could become subscription based and the members are paying a subscription fee. And in exchange for that, they have, let's say, X amount of event invitations per month, or they're getting mentoring services, or whatever else could be relevant to the specific community you are having. Business idea number 3 is a combination of Marie Kondo and Gen Z digital savvy people. So basically, idea number 3 is a home/wardrobe declutter and reselling service. So trust me when I'm telling you, so many people struggle with keeping their places organized, with, you know, just keeping only the things they need. They have overcluttered spaces that they cause so many problems. And the reason why a lot of people don't do anything about it is either because they don't have the time to do it, or because they can't be bothered, or because they don't know how to list and sell things online. And if you are someone who doesn't have money, that means you have time, and you should give that time to people who don't have it in order to solve a big problem. And obviously, it makes sense that if you help someone make their space more functional, plus make $1 out of the things they no longer use, then that's a win-win situation for literally everyone. So your revenue in this model basically comes from 2 things. One is the money you get paid for the time you spend to organize the space/the wardrobe. And then you're also going to be making commissions from every item that you are selling online. Now, I'm absolutely sure that someone in your circle, an acquaintance of yours, a friend of yours actually needs that service. And so the way I would go about it is that I would ask people around me if they actually need that kind of service, and I would charge charge a very small fee in order to get started. So I would start with the people that I actually know. And ideally, while I'm, decluttering this space and just organizing everything, I would film the entire process and post it on social media, because by the way, organizing, sort of decluttering videos have a tendency to go viral on social media. So that helps you a lot. And so I would take it from there. But even if you're not comfortable filming and posting everything on social media, this type of thing can still work, because so many people, I'm telling you, so many people need that type of service. So literally mouth to mouth recommendations are enough to get you started and have your initial capital. Every time you're getting a new client, every time you're doing a new decluttering, organizing project, you should increase your price by $10 or $20 until the price actually reaches the ideal, let's say, compensation you would want to have for that type of service. And let me tell you, I would be interested in that type of service. I have so many friends that would be interested in that type of service. Literally just ask around you and start. I promise you this can totally work. Business idea number 4 is tackling another huge community, and that is pet owners. I am a pet owner and I would totally pay for that service that I'm about to recommend you. So I don't know where you're watching this video from or where is it that you're coming from, but I'm originally Greek. And one of my favorite things about Greece is the whole at-home services culture. So in Greece, you want to get your hair done, you're going to have the hairdresser at home. You want to get your nails done, nail technician at home. You want a massage done, massage at home. Something else, name it. Anything that you could probably think of in terms of services, you can have it at home. And now take that principle and apply it to grooming. People are busy, and so many times they don't have the capacity to figure out when is it that they need to bring their pet to the groomer and which day, and sometimes they take the appointment and then they cannot make it, and so on and so forth, and then they're saying, okay, I'm going to do it at home, but so many times it's such a hassle, so they're not doing it at home, or they don't even know how to do it, and everything is just a mess. Now imagine having someone that actually knows what they're doing and they can give your furry friend the attention and the grooming that they need, all while making it happen around your own time constraints. Seriously, paradise. And I know a lot of people will say, okay, but I don't see how that sort of business model is scalable, because in that case, you're exchanging your time for a service. And the answer to that is what your business is today is not what your business is going to be in the future. Meaning that once you start making a decent amount of money and you have a decent amount of margin, you can hire other people to offer that services to other houses, which means more profit for you. And eventually what you could do is create a portable groomer's van where you can have 3 or 4 dogs getting groomed at the same time. So you go to the people, you pick up the dogs, you're giving to 3-4 dogs in that area grooming at the same time, then you get them back to their families. And obviously in the future, you can even scale that. You can have more vans and just expand the way you would scale a restaurant chain. And please, if somebody wants to do that in Switzerland, please go ahead and do it, because I just need that service. Just come and get my money yesterday. Idea number 5, I would just like to preface this idea by saying, please hear me out. Don't skip directly, because that idea is content creation, but not the usual type of content creation, or at least not the most famous one. So basically, most of the people who decide to offer content creation services to businesses, for the most part, they tend to tackle businesses that are more like creative or like in the lifestyle domain or sector, meaning that most people would go for skincare brands and makeup brands and boutique shops and candle owners and so on and so forth. But the reality is that everybody needs a social media presence, everybody needs content, and the people who need it the most, and they most certainly, almost certainly don't have someone doing it internally, and they're the ones that are actually, the most lost out of every, single industry, are the more traditional types of professions like doctors, lawyers, engineers, and especially those who have their own private practices. So my parents are basically both doctors, and when I'm telling you that if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't even know what content is, I swear they wouldn't know. They would have no idea. So how I would go about it is that I would find doctors, lawyers, and engineers that are in my region, like in my town or wherever it is that I live, and I would offer them bundles. So I would offer them, for example, 10 photos and 10 videos for that price. And the thing that I would try, to emphasize is my expertise and that I understand what it is that I'm doing, because those industries are not like the lifestyle industry. Once again, you shouldn't focus so much on content that is like popular dances or like trends, even though a trend or two can never hurt. But these are industries that really need to focus, you really need to focus on showcasing their education and their expertise and how, they're better than every other professional in that domain, because that is what they care the most about. And obviously, needless to say that it's a very underserved market. And if you manage to actually do a good work, you're going to get a lot of recommendations and you could eventually scale that business into an entire agency. And obviously, I saved my best idea for last, because if somebody doesn't do this, watch me do it in a few years and you'll understand why I'm saying in a few years. Okay, the idea is new parent helper. Hear me out. One of the most important things when it comes to business building, like the most important things, is demand, and also how much supply you have for that demand in that region, in that market. Approximately 385,000 babies are born every day worldwide, which means 770,000 people become parents every single day. And let me tell you, they are lost. So most new parents have all sorts of questions for all sorts of things, from which gadgets and which machines they actually need to buy and which ones are completely useless and they're just trend-based, to what type of formula they need to have for a colic baby and a sensitive baby and an allergies-prone baby, to how many Pampers do they need to stock, or how many onces do they need for the first 3 months, and how do they need to give their baby a shower and how many showers they're supposed to give to their baby per week, to, I don't know, breastfeeding techniques and what helps and what doesn't help, all the way to sleep training and Lord knows what else. Literally, the questions are endless. So what I would do if I had all that knowledge, which I don't, and that's why I said watch me do it in a few years, is, and you could be a mom, or you could be a doula, or you could be a caregiver that actually has all that experience. So if you are that person, what I would do is I would put all of my knowledge in a digital book / a digital guide, and I would price that guide anywhere between $10 to $60, depending on how big that book is. And I would sell that book on Etsy. I would advertise it on Facebook mom groups. If I had a few dollars, I would run Facebook ads. And if I had absolutely no money at all, I would just create content non-stop about that guide on social media. I kid you not, this is guaranteed to work. You don't need anything other than your knowledge. You can write the entire thing on Canva or even on Word, and you can do it for absolutely free. No dollars, trust me. So many people need that type of knowledge, and they can only get it from people who have actually gone through that experience, and that person could be you. And I'm telling you that every single new parent is willing to pay $10 to get the shortcut answer to a simple question as which gadgets specifically, which crib and which pillow do I need for the first 6 months of being a parent. Like, that alone is so valuable. Trust me when I'm telling you, please go ahead and do that. And you can make extra money from the book if you introduce affiliate links inside your books to the products that you're actually recommending. Now, the only thing is I would only recommend you to do that business idea, to go for that business idea, if you are someone who really has gone through the experience and you actually have honest, real answers to all of those questions, because the success of the book relies a lot on that. So if you are a parent or a doula or a caregiver and you have those answers, just run, don't walk. This is totally going to work. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found these ideas useful. I hope they give you a little bit of motivation to go out there and start your own business, even if you don't have a lot of money right now or no money at all. And if you really enjoyed the video, then please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video.